Hi friends, it's Amy. Welcome to my bookish life. Today I'm going to do a try a chapter with some books that authors have sent to me. So let's get to it. These 4 books are all middle grade, and I am in a Facebook community for authors and teachers of middle grade students. I've been sent these 4 books from authors who are kind of always doing giveaways on this Facebook page. It has been very wonderful to see all of the excitement for middle grade reading out there, and I've just really enjoyed chatting and networking with different authors and other educators. It's really a great place. And I have been sent in the last couple weeks The 13th Circle by Marcy K. Connolly and Catherine Holmes. This is a science fiction, which is really great because that is what my students are focusing on right now at school. And it happened on a Saturday by Sydney Dunlap. This has to do with some cyberbullying, I believe, and the effects of it. Very timely for anyone who teaches middle school. And then this is The Enchanted Life of Valentina Mejia by Alexandra Alessandri. This book was pitched as a cross between Encanto and Narnia. Just sounded really great. Very excited about this one. This is a cute mystery. This is The Jumbled Jewels by David Gorman. This is actually number 6 in the Waldemar Mystery Files. This one might be a little below my students. This might be one that I gift to the 3rd or 4th grade teacher. It kind of looks a little bit more their speed, but we will see. I'm kind of excited to have a mystery that doesn't include like a murder. It's a little bit intense, I think, sometimes for young students. There doesn't always have to be a murder for there to be a mystery, right? So I'm excited for that one too. So I don't even know, all of these sounded so good when obviously you sign up for a giveaway. You don't think they're going to sound bad, right? So I'm going to actually read the first chapter of The 13th Circle first, just because I'm kind of wondering if this is one that I could recommend to my students that are still looking for a science fiction to focus on. This says, Kat knows aliens are real and she's determined to prove it. By studying the Western farm circles, her town's legendary crop circle phenomenon, she'll not only demonstrate the existence of extraterrestrial life, but also win the McMurray Youth Science Competition, a feat she's sure will impress her distant NASA scientist father. Danny most certainly does not believe in aliens. How can she when they go against every scientific principle she's been taught? So when Danny is paired with Kat to enter the McMurray Youth Science Competition, which she has to win to avoid going to her parents' artsy summer camp, she knows she's at a disadvantage. Her solution: disprove Kat's theory, of course, without telling her partner her true intentions. But as the girls bond over science, it becomes clear that there is something strange about the Western farm circles, and when Danny and Kat's project is threatened by suspicious forces, they'll have to work together to expose the truth once and for all. That sounds so fun. Oh my gosh. This is going to be a dual perspective, so we're going to have Danny's perspective and Kat's perspective. And we begin... Oh my gosh. To Gillian Anderson and David Duchovny for making us want to believe. Oh, man. All right, so we start with Danny's perspective. Danny is the one that most certainly does not believe in aliens. The first sentence is, there was an alien in Kat Mulvaney's bedroom. That's what Danny thought in the split second before she realized that the alien was Kat. The other girl was wearing enormous safety goggles that magnified her eyes, making her look like an insect. All right, I'm going to dig into this chapter. Well, I'm going to see how long it takes, though. I might try to read two perspectives just because I think with two authors, one did one perspective and one did the other. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not exactly 100% sure. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, 2 chapters would bring me to 13 pages, so. Okay. I forgot. So the authors left, also sent a book plate to go in the book, signed, which is really cool. All right, so here's the deal. Every 13 years, these crop circles appear in their hometown. And Danny, of course, thinks that it's a hoax. Kat, of course, thinks that it is aliens. And there is a specific pattern that happens every 13 years. So Kat has studied this pattern and she's figured out, and she knows when a power outage is going to happen. And that's the first thing that happens. So Kat, oh my gosh, it is so giving me Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Back to the Future vibes, where you have this like scientist that's got these wacky ideas and just like completely absorbed in what they're doing, that they totally have no idea what's going on around them or how people are, reacting to what they're doing. And it's really cute. It's very funny so far. One of the, oh my gosh. Oh, here. So during Danny's chapter, she's explaining what Kat's room looks like, and Kat notices that she's looking around at all her scientific stuff. She's got like a telescope and all of these things. Cool, right? Kat beamed at the way Danny's eyes jumped from one strange thing to the next. I moved up here a couple of years ago. It's still a work in progress. My mom doesn't care what I do with the space as long as I don't burn down the house. Oh, Danny said. Her bedroom had a quaint seaside sunrise theme. Danny's mom was an artist and had picked out bedding, curtains, a rug, and lampshades to match 2 of her own paintings. The only thing in the room that felt like Danny, besides the science text piled around the desk, was the periodic table of the elements Danny had found at Goodwill last year. Since it was done in watercolors and completed the overall color scheme, her mom had let her put it up. I mean, it's just really cute. There's like these quirky, it's really, yeah, I enjoyed the chapters that I read of this. This is going to be a good one. Yeah, definitely. I think I'm going to do this one next. This is The Jumbled Jewels. Let's see. Seth and Julia Ambrose are pros at solving mysteries at their favorite amusement park, but can Julia solve her biggest mystery yet without her brother? After finding a ruby at Waldemere, Julia and her friends are soon searching the concession stands for stolen jewels worth millions. Time is ticking because the thieves who stole the jewels are coming to claim their lost loot. Can the kid detectives outwit the thieves? Does Julia have what it takes to lead the team all by herself? So usually, this is the 6th book in the series, and usually it's the 2 siblings that work together, the brother and the sister. This is the first time that the sister is by herself in this. And it says that David Gorman's family owns and operates Waldemere and Waterworld in Erie, Pennsylvania. Interesting. Okay, so these are the first 6 books in the series. The long lost locket, the sneaky sabotage, the curious clues, the arcade absurdity, the water park wonder, and the jumbled jewels. This is for Olivia, who suggested an all-girls mystery. Chapter 1 is called Something Glittering in the Light, and the first line is, "You have to catch me up on everything that happened while I was gone," Samira said to her friend Julia as they got on the sky ride. Their blue car on the ski lift ride left the station, and they took it to the sights of Waldemere, the local amusement park. All right, so Samira came from Ethiopia, and her mom is a student of Julia's mom. So Julia's mom, Julia and Seth, we don't meet Seth at all, but Julia and Seth, their mom teaches English to immigrants as a full-time job, but she also works at Waldemere, which is the amusement park. And so Seth and Julia spend a lot of time at the amusement park. Samira was gone to summer camp, and now she's back, so she must have missed a couple cases. So far, it's done a pretty good job of kind of setting up how the mystery is going to work. It's set up kind of the characters. It's given good enough background that I don't really feel like I've missed a lot with the first couple books that I haven't read. It definitely feels like it could be a standalone, and already we have met the mystery. We have a small red diamond here that was in somebody's ice cream. So that's where we are with it so far. It was a pretty short chapter. It was only 7 pages long, but it was really interesting, and it seems like it's gonna be good. I like that there's some diversity here. There's definitely some good friendships, and I think the added bonus of the amusement park setting is going to be really fun. So I think this one's going to be a good one. Okay, I think I'm going to go to another realistic fiction next. This is It Happened on Saturday by Sydney Dunlap. And it says, 13-year-old Julia would much rather work with horses at the rescue barn than worry about things like dating and makeup. When her BFF meets a boy at camp, Julia is determined not to get left behind. We have Julia and Julia. Nice. After a makeover from her older sister, she posts a picture of herself online and gets a comment from Tyler, a seemingly nice kid who lives across town. As they DM more and more, Julia is sure that Tyler understands her in a way her family never has. Even better, their relationship earns her tons of attention at school. Then Julia finds out Tyler's true plan, and her world is turned upside down. She fiercely guards her secret, but could her silence allow her friends to fall into the same trap? Ooh, that sounds pretty intense. All right, so this says, for Miss Bowman and her students, I hope you enjoy Julia's story. This definitely seems like it's going to be for like the older grades that I teach. So 7th and 8th graders, maybe a couple of 6th graders would definitely be able to handle it. I don't know about 5th grade though. They seem, I don't know, maybe. There is an author's note here. It says, It Happened on Saturday is the story of a 13-year-old girl named Julia who's dealing with issues that many kids face, changing friendships, family challenges, and social media. She makes a risky choice and narrowly escapes becoming a victim of human trafficking. I chose to write about this topic after I'd been volunteering for local anti-trafficking organizations and learned that 11 to 14-year-olds are especially susceptible to being lured or forced into trafficking. As a longtime elementary school teacher, I realized that there was very little written on the topic for middle grade readers, and I wanted to introduce the subject matter when young people need it most. Even so, It Happened on Saturday is ultimately a story of hope, healing, and Julia's journey toward finding her voice. Julia's story is just one of the many ways trafficking can occur. I think that's all I'm going to read of that out loud, but oh man. Ooh. Okay, so this is part 1 then. So chapter 1 is... Ooh. Chapter 1 is pretty short. It takes us to page 16, but we're starting on page 11. So, and the first sentence says, "The only thing that stood between me and the friend I'd been missing so bad all summer was one of the saddest looking horses I'd ever seen." It's always hard in a middle grade when you see the changing of a friendship, and it's such a traumatic thing for kids, for their friendships to have that kind of jolting, and you have to wonder if friendships are going to make it and survive it. And, it's rough, but it has a very interesting setup. I'm loving the setting of the horse rescue ranch, where Julia volunteers and just feels in her element when she is able to work with the horses and be with the horses. And it's just a very interesting way to kind of help move the story along a little bit. And I do like that. We meet Nori, who is her best friend, who's just come back from summer camp. While she was at summer camp, one of the boys from school was at camp too. And so it all starts, instead of spending the night at Julia's house, Nori wants to go and hang out with this boy. And so Julia has to deal with that and what that means for her. And friendships, I think this is going to be very interesting. Not a lot happened in this first chapter, but I really liked the writing style. I liked how the setting brought the story out, and I'm liking the characters so far. So I think this one is going to be really interesting. And then last, I have The Enchanted Life of Valentina Mejia by Alexandra Alessandri. And this one says, 12-year-old Valentina wants to focus on drawing the real world around her and hopefully get into art school in Bogota one day. But Papi has spent his life studying Colombia's legendary creatures and searching for proof of their existence. So when Papi hears that Patasula, a vampire woman with one leg, has been sighted in the Andes Mountains, Valentina and her younger brother Julian get dragged on another magical creature hunt. In the Andes, a powerful earthquake hits. Valentina and Julian fall through the earth and find an alternate Colombia where, to Valentina's shock, all the legends are real. To get home, Valentina and Julian must make a treacherous journey to reach this land's ruler, the Madre Monte. She controls the only portal back to the human world, but she absolutely hates humans, and she'll do anything to defend her land. Ooh. This one says, to Miss Bowman's students, get ready for an adventure, signed by the author. So cool. To my family who filled my childhood with stories of Colombia, so I'd always remember. All right, so chapter 1 looks like 6 pages. And the first sentence is, 3 hours into their trek through the Andes, Valentina heard it. At first, she was sure it was another coyote. The whining of the raccoon-like animal had been following them for a few miles, but now she thought she heard the distant sound of heavy breathing. All right. So I'm liking this so far. Very steeped in Colombian folklore. It's very interesting. Her father is kind of a cryptologist, and he is married to a geophysicist, and her mother was called away because of the oh, her mom was called away. Oh, because of the volcanic activity in a certain area. So she had to travel for work. So she had to go along with her dad. And her dad's all like, don't make me regret bringing you. And she's like, I didn't want you to bring me. In her head. She didn't say it out loud though. But yeah, it's really good. I'm enjoying the setting here. They're tromping through the woods, very descriptive, very cool, and it ends on like this whoa kind of moment right in the first chapter, which I think is really cool. You see the dynamic between her and her brother, her and her father, and it gives quite a deal of background information. So I think I'm gonna like this one too. So here's the deal. I think I'm gonna like all of these. They all just seem really, really fun. I think if I had to choose one to focus on reading right now, I would choose the 13th Circle by default, because that's what my students are focusing on right now, and I want to read the whole thing and see if it's something that I can suggest to them. And also, I laughed so much while I was reading this one. I feel like this one I would need to save for summer so that I'm not reading it while I'm also dealing with, regular, not as serious middle school drama, but also still middle school drama, which always feels very big for, them. I totally get it, but I don't know that I want to read this. And that at the same time, I feel like this is kind of going to be a summer read for me, so that I can figure out whose hands this should go in first. And then this one I think also is going to need to be a summer read, just because I think for me to really concentrate on all of the folklore that I am personally not familiar with now, I think that I would want to kind of read this a little bit more slowly, and then be able to just kind of more focus on the story, and not have to worry about whether or not I'm understanding it, if that makes sense. So I think I'm going to continue with these two. I think they're going to be the easiest for me to continue with. So I think these two will be read in May. We will see, but they definitely could be. I just really think that I'm going to enjoy this one. So I think I'm going to continue reading this one. And then we'll go from there, right? So I'm going to bring these to school and see if any of my students would like to read them as well, because I don't want to just hoard them from them. But this one I think is going to be one that I talk to them as I'm reading it, so I can hype it up a lot. Because that's always really fun. Oh, the X-Files meets Scooby-Doo. That's what sounded really great about this one. And wouldn't you know, I can see the Scooby-Doo and the X-Files already in here. So that's just wonderful. I'm very excited. But yeah, let me know if you've heard of these 4 books. They're all newer books, and I really think that I'm going to enjoy all of them. But let me know your thoughts down below. I love chatting with you down there. Commenting, liking, and subscribing really help my channel grow, and I really appreciate you for doing that. I hope you're finding something wonderful to read, and until next time, happy reading. Bye!